Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Arsenal Alliance. Our Arsenal on the verge of signing yet another Chelsea reject. Apparently, we're going to be signing Spanish goalkeeper Kepa from Chelsea for £5 million. We know that they paid a lot of money for him in the region of 70, 75, something like that. Can't remember the exact figure, but I know it was a lot of money Chelsea paid for him. And then last season, he was out on loan at Bournemouth. You know, we loaned in Bournemouth goalkeeper Neto. Chelsea loaned Kepa to Bournemouth, and now it looks like we're going to be buying this goalkeeper from Chelsea that was on loan. Didn't have a bad season, to be fair. I know he didn't really cut the mustard at Chelsea, so that's why they loaned him out. But, you know, he didn't have a bad season at Bournemouth. I think he done all right. I didn't see a lot of Bournemouth's games. I see the 2 games we played against them. You know, but anyway, let's not go into that. And let's think about this goalkeeper. I mean, he's got some Premier League experience in you know, playing the full season at Bournemouth, some Champions League experience as well. I believe he was at Real Madrid. You know, decent number 2, I suppose. Is he 30, 31, whatever? Is he going to be like competing with Raya properly to overthrow him? No, he's not in the league of David Raya. It's a different scenario to when we had Aaron Ramsdale at the club and Raya, when it was having like 2 number 1s, and there was a lot of controversy about that. There was a lot of people making videos about it and commenting about it as well. But this is just a basic backup for Raya. 5 million, decent business, I suppose. Like we had last season with Neto, backup, just a backup for Raya. No real competition to take that number 1 spot. So, yes, Raya's going to be comfortable. I do believe we need a keeper that could push Raya a little bit, you know, just in case he starts making a few little mistakes and, you know, gets a bit erratic and or gets injured, let's say. We do. I would prefer a keeper who's a bit better, but, you know, you can't have it all, can you? So I'd love to know what you think about that. Is it the right choice for the backup goalkeeper? We do need one. You know, we haven't got one now because Neto's gone back on loan, and you know the academy goalkeepers are not going to be good enough for the Premier League, and the 3rd choice goalkeeper, and I can't even remember his name. You know, he's going to be nowhere near ready for the Premier League and Champions League anyway. But I mean, it'd be a good addition, Kepa. I mean, he can play in the League Cup. I don't want to see him in the FA Cup either. I want to see us go for that one. The League Cup, I know it's still a cup, but it's not as prestigious as the FA Cup, and it has been dismissed over the years by both Arteta and Wenger, where they played kids in there in that competition to give them some experience. But I mean, I like that. I like the fact that we use that League Cup for that reason, to give the younger players some experience. I know it's a bit dismissive. I get that. Some people will argue the toss with me about that. But anyway, that's the way I just feel. I just want the Premier League, then the Champions League, then the FA Cup, then the Champions League. The FA Cup is a number 2 trophy for me. Premier League is the one I want the very most. And then in 3rd place, a close 3rd, would be the Champions League. Other signings that we've been linked with as well. Again, I did mention one yesterday, Morgan Rogers. I mean, I'm not sure how true that is. You see these things all the time. But the Rodrigo one from Real Madrid is getting a bit of traction, getting more interested in that one. We know Zubimendi is apparently done, so let's forget about that. I probably won't mention that one again until we actually see him holding the shirt up. But this is very interesting to me, the Rodrigo one. Mohamed Kudus as well has been linked from West Ham. I mean, that would be a good signing as well. But would you pick Kudus or Rodrigo? I think I would go with Rodrigo. I think I would prefer Rodrigo at the club. I do like Kudus, and I would not settle, but I would like him to come to Arsenal if we weren't into. If Rodrigo decides to stay at Real Madrid, go and get Kudus. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. But other links I've seen today as well. 3 links. This one is Leroy Sané and Jonathan David from Lille. I mean, what would that be? I wouldn't mind a Jonathan David from Lille on a free. Leroy Sané, is he getting a little bit too old now? He was a little bit inconsistent last season. I'm seeing reports of that. He was a little bit too inconsistent, and that's why they've not decided not to renew his contract. So, you know, but would there be a scramble for him? I mean, what sort of wages would you have to pay for Leroy Sané? I know he's on high wages at his current club, so, you know, it might be a bit too much. Jonathan David at Lille's had a good season. I don't know why they're not renewing his season. I'm not sure if there's any fallout there with the club or he's pushing for a move. But get Jonathan David on the free, I think will be good business. I mean, keep him on the bench. I want to sell Havertz. So get a Jonathan David. Sign Gyökeres, not Sesko. That's my opinion. But it looks like we're going to be getting Sesko. He wants to come to Arsenal. There's talks are ongoing. Andrea Berta was saying, I haven't heard it from Andrea Berta, don't get me wrong. But I've heard that the talks are ongoing and they're getting close to being finalised. So it looks like Sesko is going to be the one that comes in. I did hear that Berta and Arteta were at loggerheads over Gyökeres and Sesko. But it looks like the power that Arteta holds has overthrown Andrea Berta. So, you know, we're going to be seeing Sesko over Gyökeres. Maybe we get both. I can't see that happening, but that would be fucking brilliant, wouldn't it? That would be amazing if we can get both of them. I'm not sure about Sesko, though. That's the problem I've got. I've not seen enough of him. RB Leipzig, but Gyökeres at Sporting Lisbon, they're saying that it's a lesser league. It's not, you know, it's an easier league than the Premier League. At least Sesko's been playing in the Bundesliga. So that is a factor. I suppose the Bundesliga would be a lot harder league and probably closely matched to the Premier League than the Portuguese league and Sporting Lisbon. But, I mean, Gyökeres has played in the... did he play? I'm not sure if he actually played any games in the Premier League when he was at Brighton, but he definitely played for Coventry in the Championship. So... when he was on loan there, and he scored a few goals, and you know the Championship's not an easy league to play in, is it? So I mean, it's got to be one of the hardest leagues if you put it on, if you take it into context of the way that people talk about how poor some of the leagues are around in the world. You know, the Championship's an hard league to get out of. Once you get relegated into that league, it's a fucking hard league to get out of, isn't it? So you know. He's played in that league, so he can, and it's rough and tumble in there as well. It's a bit, it's a bit physical. So he knows what it's going to be like when he comes to the Premier League. Anyway, let's just leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Stick a like on the video, and I'll see you on the next one.